Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. And today I just want to dive into what I'm feeling that's coming up today during this beautiful Libra season with having Venus in Virgo, which will be moving into Libra October 13th, and Mars in Scorpio. So let's just talk about alchemy. And the reason why this is on the forefront is because Venus is in Virgo. If you know the archetypes, in my last video, I do share the 12 archetypes from according to zodiac signs. And I'll leave a link if you want to take a look at that video. But Virgo is the alchemist in the out of the 12 zodiac signs. And being that Virgo or Venus is in Virgo, Venus is love, right? She represents Aphrodite, and it's Libra season, and Libra rules the seventh house of relationships. So you might be feeling this, being drawn to things around relationship, alchemy, finding what you love. That might be coming up right now. And so I wanted to just talk about it because it is circling me at this time. And just a reminder, Venus will be moving into Libra October 13th. So you're going to feel a double whammy of that divine feminine energy, that goddess energy in the house of relationships. And fall, we're in autumn. We've had autumn equinox, and this is about harvesting and gathering what seeds you've planted all year and getting ready for the winter, right? So you're harvesting everything that you've brought in, and you're waiting for winter solstice. But this is a time to really start to understand yourself, because your inner world matters when it comes to your relationship. So if you look at a natal chart, you know that it is a circle, and there is a horizontal line that separates the horizon, and underneath the horizon are the houses that are in your inner world, where the houses from 7th house to 12th house are the houses of your external world. And we're here mastering the first 6 houses so that we can be the alchemist in our life. Because when you look at the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then the 6th house is the natural placement for Virgo, who is the alchemist. But you must know yourself from the houses 1st through 5 and the 6th house before you can be an alchemist of the outer world, because now you've mastered your inner world. And what happens is, because the world are what we've been told is so backwards, and we've been living externally, we've been trying to seek validation from others to tell us who we are. And the reality is you have your blueprint. It was given to you at birth, and it tells you everything about you. So mastering your chart and your placements is the way for you to start understanding why you're here. And I feel like the reason why I want to have this conversation is because what's been, percolating with alchemy and learning about plants and flowers and like the floral essence, because even when it comes to creating the essence of a floral, it is through the bees pollinating that we get these beautiful flowers. So there is that masculine feminine playing. It's the relationship of nature. And then we're in Libra season, so we're feeling that relationship popping up also. But if you haven't mastered the first 6 houses, what happens is you jump, right? So like, if you don't know who you are and you haven't mastered being comfortable in your own skin, being confident with who you are, not from other people projecting, your family, academics, society, religion, all of the constructs telling you who you are. And you don't really know because you haven't studied your chart, then you live a life that feels out of alignment. It's not integral to who you are. And because of that, you jump over the 6 houses. So like your first house is opposite the 7th house. So if you don't know who you are, then you're going to go seek relationship to validate who you are. And that's why so many people get in the wrong relationship, because like they'll trauma bond because they have this sense of familiarity, because they have a wound that they both are working through. But when you know who you are and you're confident and you feel like I'm a high value woman, not because of some imaginary um, stereotype that they've put out in the world of what it means to be a high value woman, but really what it means is to know yourself and to be aligned with your authentic code, to know that you have done the inner work and there's a growth process. Because when you look at your natal chart, it is cyclical. It's like you're playing a game and it's your roadmap, and you are going through growth cycles like a spiral. And the universe works in a spiral. And you do have the masculine and the feminine energy, but you have that within yourself. And so there is a process of your growth, your inner world, so that you can commingle with the external world. But if you don't know, like I said, you'll jump into, oh, I don't know my value, I don't know my worth, I don't know who I am. So I'm going to look elsewhere. So I'm going to jump into the 7th house, and maybe I'll find a relationship and they'll make me feel like I have some value. Or you'll jump into the 9th house and it's like, okay, I'm going to focus on where I want to get a degree so that other people can see that I've achieved something and I have value. Or I'm going to focus on career. What's my purpose? Because other people will see me through my public reputation, and then I will have value. Or I'm going to belong to a certain clique, a certain group. And if somebody sees me in this group, it's like I belong, I have a sense of belonging, then I will have value. Those are all external houses. We are supposed to be growing in all of the 12 houses, but when you don't know who you are, you jump the core growth process that you need to go through. So one of them is your identity and knowing who you are, like how other people see you, but it's your truth. It is not a mask you're wearing, it's your authenticity. They know what they're getting from you because you've always stayed tried and true to who you are. But then when you go into the 2nd house, it's a house of your self-worth. And so if you don't know you have value, that's when you start hopping, right? You start hopping to other things, other areas in your chart, trying to find your value. But it's always going to bring you back to the 2nd house, which is the house of self-worth. And if you don't know your self-worth, then you're giving it away all of the time, because you're thinking, if I do for you, if I show up for you, if I show you how I am valuable in this world, then maybe you will see it. But it's all external. And then when you go into the 3rd house, it is the way that you communicate with the world. And because of that, it's also the way you learn. And people know that your communication style, and you don't change it. Like when other people are in the room, it's like you're not a shapeshifter or a chameleon and turning into something you're not with the way that you speak to others. And you have your 4th house, which is the house of your ancestral root. It is all about your groundedness, what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel secure. And also it is how you nurture yourself. And when you have the 5th house, it's the house of self-expression, how you express yourself in the world. And it's consistent with, whether whoever you're with, you're consistent with the way that you express yourself. And self-expression is a big one, right? Because you've got to get this down before you start venturing off into the other houses, the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th house. And if you don't know how to express yourself in the world, where like you dim your light, because you feel awkward, you don't want to be laughed at, you're embarrassed. And even if you're an introvert, you can still express yourself as an introvert and own that. That is a part of who you are. Instead of hiding, there is there's a um, hidden talent that you have, a hidden skill that you have. And when you don't know who you are and you don't know how to express that in the world, you hide it because you don't want to feel uncomfortable and you don't want people to laugh about you. It is also the house of passion, hobbies, and children. And so if you're a lot, what happens is if you don't know yourself, you don't know your worth, you might hop into having children because you want your children to love you and give you what you're not giving yourself. And so you've hopped over houses 2, 3, and 4 and thinking that the children's going to give you that sense of stability, or thinking that your passion lies within taking care of others, but you didn't learn how to take care of yourself. And that causes this disconnect. But when you get to the sixth house is about your routines, your habits, your systems that you have in place because you know yourself better than anybody else. You know how you work, you know your views, you know your values, you know your worth, you know how you want to appear, like how you want to dress, what you feel comfortable in. You know what your archetypes are as this avatar. And because you're solid in that, then when you get into relationship, when you uh, make that jump over the horizon and get into the seventh house of relationship, you have this sense of inner knowing. You have this sense of worth and value. And so you don't people please. You notice the red flags. You notice that you are denying yourself or detaching, and you are becoming somebody else, hoping that they will see you. But when you know yourself, you're like, oh, I see the red flag. This is not working out. I deserve better than that. I know that this is something that's on repeat. Maybe I picked it up from a parent. Maybe I picked it up from something I saw on television, but I don't align with this because this doesn't align with my core values. So it's so important because the sixth house is the house of alchemy. And so if you want to be the alchemist of your life, you have to know how you are marrying your energetic self with the external world to create your pot of gold. And if you're out of alignment, then you're just second guessing yourself and you're putting out fires, and you're like operating from fight or flight. You know, it's like I'm going to put out I'm going to just go for it. If this works, and if it doesn't work out, I'm putting out the fires. Like a lot of death and rebirth, which is part of the growth process, right? Your only way you're going to grow is to the old self dying away. That's what the eighth house represents. So it's like if a relationship doesn't work out, then what you learn from the relationship creates a new you, like a phoenix rising, right? Because you go through the ashes of heartache and then you're born new. But even within the houses are systems. And in each house, there's a system of what that house is teaching you and then your growth lessons. And when you master those, you feel more aligned and in tune to being the alchemist, being the one that's grounded, and knowing that you are, because Virgo is the sixth house of the horizon, right? So we have the moon and the sun, because the sun is above the horizon, the moon is in the darkness. So you're the alchemist at the corridor of marrying the moon energy with the sun energy, which is alchemy, but it is your inner world with your external world. And knowing this gives you an opportunity to master your life, to take charge of what it is that you want without giving your power away. So, what I'd like you to do is drop in to this divine feminine energy, whether it's creative, whether it's working with flowers, whether it's making candles or working with essential oils, or even just taking some essential oils that are alchemized with floral essence and just putting them on your hands and on your face and nails, and just smelling the aroma to intoxicate you, to remember that feminine essence of you. And then journal about what comes up for you during this Libra season, but it's going to be even more potent. And I don't want you to get trapped in the air of, amore, and then find yourself in a loop again. It is about empowering yourself to not out of control, not out of having your walls up, but being so divinely in tune with who you are that everything just flows, and it feels like magic. It feels like everything is like this cauldron of pure intention that is giving you the reality that you want, but it is attracting all of your senses. And knowing the systems, being aware of the systems, because we are moving in a time where we are waking up. And when we wake up our critical thinking. So stay intentional, but stay in tune with any of the emotions that come up right now. Get your journal out and write about what is coming through with these transits. And there's another transit I'd like you to keep in mind before I close this session. And that is Mars in Scorpio, because Scorpio rules the house, or the natural placement is the 8th house, which is the house of transformation. So this is a death and rebirth. And Mars, everyone talks about the malefic nature of Mars, like war. But also Mars is about ambition and being assertive and taking charge and bringing in something new. So it's going to give you the confidence to transform, the confidence to move forward, the confidence to really open up and be who you are and stand for what you truly want in this new way of being, and sticking with it. That's the important thing, is sticking with it, because we are moving away from this wishy-washy energy that has been going around. We don't want to be lied to anymore. We want to walk in integrity. And through being our authentic self, every fiber of our being is integral, meaning you are integral with yourself, with your emotions, how you feel about yourself. You're aware if you have a paradigm, if you're operating from beliefs that don't belong to you, so that you can show up as this optimal version of you. And that does not come from ego. That comes from a sense of being. And I'll see you next time.